This is not a drill. Bitcoin is over $117,000. We have altcoins moving up as well. Ethereum well over 4,300. We have other altcoins as well moving up, whether it's XRP up 4%, almost to $3. Whether it's Solana up at $220. The market is looking green. I want to explain what's happening right now, why you need to be ready for Q4, because this is the best quarter of the 4-year cycle. I've been saying that a lot recently, but you want to be ready because things are about to get explosive. We also just got some economic data. We have some other news that we have to cover with regard to crypto. If you don't mind, hit subscribe so you can see future videos just like this one. If you want to trade crypto, check out BYDeFi. Right now we have this trade and get up to $13,000 bonus going on right now. And if you deposit $5,000, you can enter to win an iPhone 17. So you might as well, if you have the money, obviously, deposit the $5,000, see if you can get a free couple $1,000. And we constantly run these. This is for people that have signed up at any time using my link. So it's not like a lot of other exchanges where it's just like a bunch of unattainable bonuses and then they're done within a week or a month or something and then they never give you anything again. No, you can trade on this platform and continuously get rewarded. We actually gave around $30,000 away during our last long campaign, and it was directly deposited into people's accounts. So if you want to start trading, check it out underneath the video. Our Ethereum long is looking really good right now, up 68%. This was a slightly more aggressive 10x position that we opened or that we added to recently. Everything that we have is in the green. There's this one that says it's down about 5%, but this was actually from a trade that we were up over 100% in. Then we rolled all of it into a lower leverage position. So we're up like 90% from the original money. The market's looking good. Like I said, Bitcoin well over 117,000. Don't be surprised if we get a little pullback. You can see this just slightly down since we peaked just a minute ago. But Bitcoin looking explosive. You can see within about 20 minutes this morning, going from 114,300 all the way up to 116,600. That's an explosive move. $2,200 within about 20 minutes. That's awesome. What exactly happened? Well, we saw some liquidations. $417 million worth of shorts liquidated versus $206 million of longs liquidated over the last 24 hours. You can see over the last 12 hours, a significant amount more as well of the shorts being liquidated. Now, we broke out above this downtrend, right? And we had this little downtrend. We broke out above it. I'd say the next resistance that we should be watching is this previous peak at 118,000. And just slightly above that is this multi-cycle trend line. Right? We just got rejected by it when we peaked out a couple weeks ago. This is really the resistance that everyone will be watching, around 118,500. And then obviously 120,000 key psychological level, then the previous all-time high of 124,400. Now, the traditional markets are down a little bit today, but we have Binance pumping Bitcoin. They're liquidating shorts now. So they were just liquidating longs for a long time. Now they're liquidating shorts. This is why I don't go 100x leverage or anything like that, because you can easily get liquidated by some of the exchanges. We have some interesting news today. ADP August was revised from plus 54,000 to negative 3,000. At the same time, ADP private payrolls comes in at negative 32,000 versus the expected 51,000. So for the first time since 2020, we've had 2 consecutive months of negative private payrolls. So this really indicates that we could see even a 50 basis point cut at the next meeting, but there's a 100% chance that we'll see at least 25, according to analysts right now. Gold futures just crossed 3,900 per ounce for the first time in history as the U.S. government shutdown begins. Again, just kind of pointing at the fact that the government's incompetent, right? They can't even agree to keep the government running, right? They can't even agree on some different things to keep everyone employed. So yeah, a lot of people furloughed. We don't know how long this will last, but typically it's good for Bitcoin, for gold, and usually to a year later, the stock market's up. So yesterday we saw some significant inflows in the Bitcoin ETFs. You can see $430 million worth of purchases. And then Ethereum saw 127. So still pretty good. We know that altcoin ETFs are most likely coming fairly soon as well. Like other altcoins are going to get approved. We're going to get staking most likely. I think that's going to be insanely bullish for altcoins. And yeah, people are starting to pay attention to altcoins. We have searches for altcoins spiking on Google Trends. So yeah, pay attention. This is typically the best quarter of the year. You can see the Bitcoin spiral. This is Q4 of 2025 here. This little wedge here. This last blue dot in each of these circles is the all-time high, like the peak of the cycle, right? So every dot is a new all-time high, but then this last blue dot that's a little bit bigger is the peak of the cycle. Then almost exactly 1 year later, maybe a year and 3 months later, somewhere around there, every cycle, we see the bottom as well. So I have said it publicly a lot of times. I even have a reminder like every day in my phone to take profits during this quarter on levered positions and altcoin positions. Now, I haven't started to do that very aggressively. Here and there, I'll take profits on leverage plays, but I haven't done that aggressively with altcoins yet because we haven't seen much of a pump. I mean, to sell Ethereum when it's under its all-time high, I think that could be a mistake. And a lot of other altcoins are significantly down too. I mean, Solana is down, from 300 to 220 on the year, basically, like over the last 10 months. I think we'll see some explosive gains, especially once ETFs are approved. We start to see some inflows, but I could always be wrong, right? And that's a risk you're taking. We could also see it pushed out a little bit too. If the Fed continues to lower rates and the economy is doing well, there's nothing that says we have to go down. There's nothing that says we have to peak out the cycle. It's not like it's an automatic dead bang lock, right? So I think just assuming for sure that we're going to peak out in this cycle is in this quarter is a mistake as well. But if the past is any indication, it's probably it's a pretty good chance that we're going to peak out. So I most likely will hold a small majority of my altcoins, but again, it's going to be dependent on the market, right? If we don't see anything explosive, I'm not just going to sell to sell necessarily if everything still looks good. We still have a lot of companies acquiring crypto too, not just Bitcoin, but Bitcoin especially, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Metaplanet just acquired 5,268 Bitcoin for $616 million. That's a big purchase for them. They hold 30,823 Bitcoin acquired for $3.3 billion. So we're going to continue to see that as the market goes up too. They can make bigger and bigger purchases. It's only going to get crazier and crazier in my mind. So everyone that was freaked out last month, I tried to kind of steady the ship, right? I feel like that's the goal of this channel, is just to keep people's head on straight, kind of like be the counter of the market, right? When people are really fearful, I try to bring some positive vibes. When people are, really greedy, I talk about taking profit, right? When we went up to all-time highs at 124,000, I said in a video that night that I was taking some profits on some of my levered positions, and yeah, that turned out to do pretty well. Bitcoin dumped by 18% in September 2024, 8% in September 2023, 17%, 23%, 19%, 27%. Every September, there are some big dumps. Altcoin dumps are even worse than this. But yet, October, November, December, pretty good months, especially October and November, right? These are two of the three best months of the year, right after April. And then December is no slouch either. If we continue to move up like we have in the past, we would see almost a doubling of Bitcoin's price in Q4. I'm not saying that's necessarily going to happen, but I would not be surprised to see a bit of a pump here. You zoom out, and it's not like Bitcoin has been running away. It's not like RSI is significantly overheated, right? Like you zoom out, and Bitcoin hit almost 110,000 in January. A month before that, it hit 108,000. So even where we are right now, we're up $9,000, like what, 8.5% since December. So almost 10 months, we're up 9%. compare that to so many other assets, and it's not like Bitcoin's significantly overheated, right? I think it's just gearing up for the next big move. I mean, this happens constantly. This entire cycle has been up and then chop around, up, chop around it down, up, chop around it down, up, chop around, and hopefully we go up again, right? But of course, I can't see the future. You have to make your own calls. Just giving you a little idea of my thoughts on the market and what's happening in the news. If you want to trade, again, you can check out BYDFi. Someone asked me recently where I would trade, and I talked about BYDFi specifically because a lot of the exchanges have similar fees, similar options. But with BYDFi, first of all, it's pretty intuitive how it works. There's no KYC. You don't need a VPN. They have CoinM, so you can actually trade crypto with crypto, and you can like gain more crypto over time. So if you have Bitcoin and you want more Bitcoin, you can trade to get more Bitcoin. But then also in our Telegram chat, we have someone that directly works with BYDFi. They're actually the person that helped me set up at BYDFi. And if you join our Telegram, there's a pin message to talk about how to get into a chat with that person to make sure you're signed up under me. And you can also get in the whale chat, which allows you to like converse and ask questions to me or other people in there. It's a good group of people. I think we have 20 people in there now. And you can ask questions specifically to the person that works at BYDFi, which is really important, especially getting into Q4. Like, get that all set up now. Make sure you're set, because if you have questions or you're trying to make a deposit and it's slightly delayed or something like that, like, you can get answers right away and they can kind of push to get things resolved for you, which does not happen on other exchanges. I was working with Coinbase or trying to work with Coinbase, and I still couldn't get a hold of anyone there when I had an issue for months. I got stuck in an endless loop. So yeah, figure that out now. As we can see too, just like I said, this one we were at 107,000. It looks like, once again, Bitcoin is flipping previous resistance into support. We saw that at 74,000. We saw that at 48,000. It looks like we're doing that once again. Now, it wasn't perfect. Like the last couple were within, like $1,000. This was about $2,000, $3,000. But yet, you zoom out and it's almost perfect. RS flip. Very bullish. Let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. I really do appreciate you guys watching. Of course, be ready for some volatility too. But this is October. The next one is Moonvember, I think. I always get them mixed up. Is this Moontober? And next is Upvember? I don't think that's the way that goes. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'll see y'all soon.